Back row ministry of the world permit, Mr. Markey coming back at you live and direct from the Kia K5 studio. So we continue to watch the foolishness in LA. The rioting continues. Curfews have been put in place by the dumbest mayor in America, Karen Bosch, who just has to be the dumbest mayor in America. Nothing she says makes a lick of sense. If ICE is deployed anywhere to any scene, LAPD has to be informed. It is a courtesy that federal agencies pay each other. Um, like I said, I was police. We would call ICE, and then ICE would decide if they were going to come out and uh, investigate our situation if a person was undocumented. That was way back in what 2014, 15. So, like I say, none of this is new. So what Karen Bosch is talking about is not true. Um, your law enforcement in your city will be deployed as well to ensure that the federal officers are able to do their job and not be messed with in a way. So pretty much it's perimeter sealing. They'll seal off the perimeter. Federal officers are going to do the job. Now, LAPD is not are not ICE agents, so they cannot handcuff any undocumented citizen. That is correct. So LAPD does not involve themselves in that because they're not involved in that. They're not members of Homeland Security. They don't have the right to do that. So that's correct what she's saying, but the lie is that they aren't there, which is a lie. Of course they're there. You can see in videos that the LAPD is always on scene when ICE is called out. The whole thing with this Home Depot thing, here's a lie they are trying to say. So they're trying to act like ICE went into Home Depot. No, that's a lie. ICE didn't have to go into Home Depot. I'm from Chicago, and I'm going to tell y'all what to do. If you're from Chicago, if it's still going on, I don't know if ICE has hit the Home Depot on Halstead and Roosevelt Road. I'm going to tell you exactly where this Home Depot is. The Home Depot off of Halstead and Roosevelt Road, down there past UIC. If you go to that Home Depot across from the LA Fitness Center, if you know what I'm talking about, if you're from Chicago, if you look outside, you'll see a whole bunch of undocumented people waiting for trucks, waiting for jobs. And the numbers have increased. At that Home Depot, it wasn't people out there like that. That's what undocumented individuals are. ICE just rolls up and asks people for papers. It's easy to do. They are not going inside of Home Depot talking about, hey, we got 5, 6 guys in here who we think are undocumented. No. Home Depot are going to protect their workers with visas. The people they got are outside of those Home Depots standing, waiting on people to pick them up for a job because people want cheap labor. So it's easy to get cheap labor outside the Home Depot. So those folks are really just waiting to get picked up. They're standing outside of those Home Depots. So you can go to the Home Depot on Halstead and Roosevelt, right across from the LA Fitness Center. I think it's a Jewel's food store right over there. And you'll find people standing outside easily that can be asked for paperwork by ICE if that's going on. And usually that's reported by Home Depot. That's reported by the management of Home Depot if it's becoming a problem. If it's becoming a problem. So Home Depot reported those folks. So everybody's acting stupid. Like I said, in law enforcement, we have to contact ICE. Hey, boom, boom, boom has to take place. They have to get their paperwork before they go and even ask for anything from a person. They got to have the right to do that, and they got to get the authorization. So they have the authorization. They know who they're looking for. They find these individuals. These individuals are undocumented. If they've committed a crime, that's even worse. But somebody reports these people. Remember now, ICE also gives rewards. Don't think now that certain calls are made and there are not rewards being given, because there are rewards being given for certain phone calls. So don't think that. So businesses will protect themselves by calling ICE and removing some of individuals from their job, from their businesses, because that's what's going on in those Home Depots. So don't get it twisted. They want you to believe that they're just running into these spots. It doesn't work like that. If a school has an issue, the principal will call and say there's an issue, but they're not running into spots doing that. So that's all a bunch of media hype and BS. It's a bunch of media hype and BS. You can go to that Home Depot that they're supposed to storm in LA and ask, did they go in the store? And you probably get a totally different story. So don't buy the hype of social media, the news media. They have to make this wrong. But the problem is, if you're in any country in the world and you're undocumented and you don't have paperwork, you're wrong. As I said in my last video, we can't go to Paris for 4 days and hang out for 6 months. You can't do that. They gonna ask you where your paperwork, and if you don't show proper documentation, they send your ass back to America. That's how it goes. The problem in the Hispanic community, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna really pinpoint the Mexican community. They don't support each other. When Eastern Europeans, I've had a lot of Eastern European clients come to America, be it Polish, be it Russian, be it Ukrainian, they support each other. They help each other get the documentation they need. If that person that they're going to be working for has a business, they keep them under their work visa. It's a process of how you keep people here, and they do the paperwork. Mexicans in LA work in a lot of these city agencies. They don't support each other. They'll sit there and lie and say they'll support a Honduran, but they ain't supporting no goddamn Honduran. They can care less about Hondurans. So they're not supporting each other. So they're not doing paperwork properly when they know people need paperwork. They don't send them and say, hey, go work over here for this gentleman here. He can help you with your work visa. They're not supporting each other. They're not doing paperwork properly. And when the flood came, it's hard to keep up with who's got what. So that's a situation created by the Biden administration. That was wrong. You don't do that because it has to be cleaned up. As we said, during Barack Obama's administration, they deported a lot of people because they were just sticking around. No paperwork. Sticking around, no paperwork. You cannot do that in any other country. So what the government is doing is not wrong. They're just doing what every other government does. Even the Mexican government has done this. Go look up old videos when the Mexican government were complaining about people migrating and sticking around and not leaving. They did the same damn thing. So that's the hypocrisy of a lot of the Mexicans out there in LA. But the part of defending criminals being here or people who committed crimes who are undocumented, that's wrong. No, they need to get the fuck off. They need to get the hell on. And I'm saying this because sooner or later it's going to be discovered some gruesome, grisly stuff out there. And all those folks out there around and go look real stupid for the people that they're defending. Now, I understand people in the uproar about their parents and things like this. But at the end of the day, you got to have your paperwork. You can't just stick around any country in this world without paperwork because they're going to find your ass and going to send you back where you come from. That's just how it goes. America spends a lot of time defending wrong. And we'll sit there defending wrong. An issue I'm having with this riot in LA is they're comparing this to the 92 riot, which was a universal riot about police brutality with Black Americans standing up and saying, no, enough is enough. And they keep making this point. They keep saying, well, this is nothing like a 92 riot. We're trying to make it as though these riots are not like the 92 riots from the form of outrage. So let's bring some key points. In 92, they weren't messing with federal facilities in 92. Sadly enough, Black Americans burnt down their own community, which we were pissed about. But they stayed in their own community. There was a lot of looting inside the community. It got out of control real quick. It was more rage than anything. It was more anger, but the anger ended up destroying our communities. Pretty much with our riots, that's what happened. We've seen it in Watts. We've seen it in Detroit. It's happened in a lot of places. Chicago at one point. We've seen it happen in those places where we destroy our own stuff. We ain't messing with federal facilities. We ain't stupid. We ain't running down on federal facilities. They didn't even run down on a police department. They're not even doing that. And that's the problem with Black American riots sometimes. We mess up our own stuff. And it becomes problematic for us. And that's the foolishness that happened in Chicago and, during the COVID time when they had those Antifa and all that foolishness, all the paid riots they had when they were out there just looting places just to be looting them. Another thing about 92 is why they're saying this is nothing like the riot in 92, trying to make it as though these people are. And another thing in 92, no matter how mad we were, you didn't see anybody burn an American flag in 1992. You did not see anybody burning American flags in 1992, no matter how outraged those black Americans were. You did not see them burn a flag. They were mad at a Pacific agency, which was the police department in LA. They weren't out there burning flags. They weren't out there, pissing on the country. They were mad at the police. They wanted to see change, which was a universal battle. Problem here, these LA riots, we see them burning flags. So I want to stay in your country, but fuck your country at the same time. So I want to burn flags, which you can't do in any country in the world without going to prison. And the Democrats ain't in charge. That's the biggest difference. And it ain't black Americans. That's another difference. Because black Americans, when we go out there and riot, we're hoodlums, we're thugs, we're criminals, we're out of control, we're beasts, we're animals. That's how they see us. When the Hispanics or the Mexicans are rioting, oh, well, this is a peaceful protest. If you go back to the history of black American, even our peaceful protests, we've always been hoodlums. We've always been criminals. We've always been lawless. We've always been thugs. Even in peaceful protests, they've spun it to make us look like the animals. And in 1992, it was a universal outrage. We were the animals. We were the beasts. Y'all need to go home. Y'all need to get out of the street. Look what they're doing. But in this LA riot, this peaceful protest, they have the right to be mad. And you always notice with black Americans, we never have the right to be mad about anything. We never have the right to be outraged. Remember in Baltimore, when they went off in Baltimore about police brutality and Barack Obama called all the black folk out there that was outraged thugs. This has been going on for a long period of time. Anytime we ride, we're thugs, we're criminals, we're hoodlums, we're animals. In LA, there's a riot right now. It's a peaceful protest. We've had mayors in this LA riot sit up there and say, well, they're not doing anything. We see people on top of cars flying Mexican flags. We see police cars. We burn police cars. We're animals. We're thugs. We're out of control. They burn a police car. They have the right to be mad. And what they're mad about is illegal. What they're mad about is illegal. The things we fought about have had to do with civil rights. What they're mad about ain't got nothing to do with civil rights. You don't have the right to be in people's country illegally in no place in the world. But the Democratic Party, the Democrats, and this is the problem with that evil party. Like I said, I'm from Chicago. I've been under the Democratic Party for a long time. The Democrats make wrong right. And if they support it, then it's okay. See, they didn't support 92 because Bill Clinton was the president. The Democrats held office. And in the Democrat society, we do everything right. We're not doing anything wrong. In our cities, which LA is a Democrat city, we do everything right. We don't do everything wrong. And they like to defend their bad behavior. But when they're not in office, suddenly they're the victims. Suddenly, oh, no, where the Republicans are wrong, they shouldn't be doing this. It's perfectly normal to stay in people's country illegally and not have documentation. Let that been a bunch of black Americans out there. There'll be hoodlums, there'll be thugs, lawbreakers. That's how they label us. So they insult us by bringing up 92 and warranted outrage that was never projected towards anybody, and everything stayed in our own community. So it hurt us more than anybody, to where we need your support. We need y'all to come out here and act a fool, so then we can paint y'all as the hoodlums, thugs, and animals, and we can take the pressure off the Hispanic community. And we'll just say, well, most of this is coming from the black community because they're outraged too. No. We're not going to support illegal behavior. And I'm going to say this, and everybody else is saying it to members of the black community, especially in Chicago. Black Americans, young black Americans, stay your ass out of that shit. Remember now, in Chicago, when the black boys and girls was going downtown and just doing their little running downtown and, being stupid kids, they were outraged. The mayor was ready to send in everybody he was lifting the bridge because he didn't want chaos downtown. But it's okay now if he got chaos downtown. See the hypocrisy? When them young black men and women were out there doing it, was a problem. Now it's okay to have chaos downtown. The Hispanics are doing it. They're creating the black and brown problem. Because what they really want is black and brown people to fight each other. That's what they really want. And they want to do that either through our environment or something else. Because in LA, it only takes one shot to get black and brown people fired. Let one of them Latinos shoot a black person out there and see what happened in LA. And see how fast them Bloods and Crips deploy out there on that spot. And then you got all out civil war. Because that's the real civil war they're trying to create. So when we say black Americans stay out of that shit, that's what we mean. Do not involve yourself in that type of shit because they're trying to use you as the ploy to spark civil war. Remember, we're in the time of World War III. You already see your boy out there in Israel trying to use the distraction in America to fire on Iran, which is going to be really bad for Israel because they're not going to have any backup. Like I said, we're in the last days of Israel right now. And they think right now, well, this is the prime time to attack Iran. If they attack Iran, that's going to begin nuclear war. That's going to begin massive war. We already got war in Russia and Ukraine. We get war in Iran. We're going to have war in America right now. You got a Mexican-American war again. Remember, we had a Mexican-American war before. So this will be the second Mexican-American war. And it's vital that black Americans stay out of this situation. This is where we need to show the most restraint we ever have shown in history. Because for the first time, this is not a universal cause. Now, the Democrats going to try to do something to get us involved? Yeah. Oh, they're going to try every trick in the book. They're going to stage an event. A Democrat, and it's always going to happen in a Democrat city. It's going to happen in a Democrat city. So you got to be very careful in Chicago and places like this, because they'll do something to try to get us involved in this foolishness. They are pissed and outraged. Look at the BET Awards. They're on the stage talking about how we need to be involved. No, we're not going to back illegal stuff. We're not backing illegal stuff. We are here legally. This is our home. We don't know no other home. So what are we fussing and cussing about folk that this ain't their home? No, we're not going to get involved. The Hispanic community needs to learn how to support each other, which they have not been doing, because if they did, they will make sure that they're getting these documentation issues corrected. They're not doing it because they fake care about each other. They fake care about each other. They got their own issues and clashes within their own tribes and sects and cultures, which they don't like to talk about. So this is their battle. We're not getting involved. We're not putting ourselves in a position where a civil war can start when somebody do something foolish, and then it's on and popping in LA where people are shooting at each other, and then they sit back and say, look at these animals. Remember now, they got the Olympics come up, so they need to clear out parts of California. They want Los Angeles look a certain way before that Olympics come. This is all a very well scripted plan that the Democrats and Republicans are doing because they birds of a feather, remember. So this period was supposed to come. It's going to be a hot summer. It's going to be a hot summer. A lot's going to pop off. And you see how funny this foolishness is popping off right before Juneteenth, so they can try to hijack the holiday and turn it into their holiday. Latinos will make Juneteenth their holiday, Emancipation Day. They ain't got shit to do with them. It's our holiday, but we can't have a holiday. We can't have a holiday. It's got to be their holiday. Their emancipation. Yet they want us to be involved, but we can't have anything. So we're going to have this moment of We're not getting involved. This is not a universal fight. This is not a legal fight. This is not an injustice because you can't do this in any place in the world. The true battle in the Hispanic community is their inability to stand together and do stuff together. Asians do it all the time, be it Indian or Chinese. When they people come over here, I bet they got their proper documentation. I bet they got their work visas. I bet their stuff is up to date and kept up to date. It's a reason for that. They stand on business. Now, they got their internal cultural wars and cultural battles, but they keep up with each other. They make sure everybody's straight. They make sure their workforce is good. They support each other. Hispanics don't do that. They do not support each other. So my hat's off to the Puerto Ricans that come over here. They don't have to worry about it because they're American citizens. For those Hispanics that's too stupid to know, Puerto Ricans ain't getting what they're going to get deported back to Puerto Rico. They're American citizens. They don't have any issue. Dominicans come over here to get their paperwork right. Africans come over here from various countries. Their paperwork is right, and they make sure they keep up with each other. Eastern Europeans come over here. Their paperwork is right because they make sure they keep up with each other. Asian and Chinese come over here. Their paperwork is right. They make sure they keep up with each other. Now, for those that their paperwork ain't right, they're going to have to get the hell on. Get your paperwork right. I have a lot of friends who come from different countries. They have to fight to keep their paperwork right. But they do it so they can stay in the country. That's the reality. That's the reality. That's the reality. This is an illegal fight. We're not going to involve ourselves in illegal business because the minute we do, we'll be the animals, we'll be the thugs, we'll be the hoodlums. Young black Americans, stay your ass out of that shit because the only thing you're going to get out of that is a free trip to a federal penitentiary. It's the only thing you're going to get, a free trip to a federal penitentiary. Stay your ass out of shit that ain't got shit to do with you. Mr. Markey, Back Row Ministry.